Hi, this is Graphically Alex coming at you with all things fat related. If that's something that interests you, please subscribe. I'd love to have you. And today we're going to go through this infographic thing. So we're going to talk about it. It says things to stop saying around fat people. Surprise, they're people too with real feelings. And you know what that made me think of? So we are going to go ahead and go through this. All right, of course, our good old fork diet culture reposted. So it's a good one. It's the best. Oh my gosh, I'm like, where's my mouse? Oh my goodness. Okay, there we go. I feel so fat today, especially when you're significantly smaller than the person beside you. You say it casually. You expect reassurance. Fat is not a feeling. What you usually mean is bloated, insecure, uncomfortable, dysmorphic, anxious. So I don't understand that you feel it casually. Like you say it casually. That's very confusing. Because it's supposed to be okay. When fat becomes shorthand for bad, the people around you hear, and if you look like this permanently, okay, whoa. The damage, comments like this can trigger panic attacks, body dysmorphia spirals, reductive blinking, shame responses, social withdrawal. For one already struggling with the toxic ritualistic, that's what I call it, toxic ritualistic, E followed by letter D, or body image issues, one casual comment can replay in their head for weeks. Okay, this is so weird because they'll constantly be like, fat is no big deal. It's amazing to be fat. But if you say, I feel so fat today, then it's terrible to say that. You see, it's very confusing. But this is where to me, there's a flop when it comes to their activism and their messaging. They expect you to just understand this. And this is like a zombie take. This is something that only a zombie would understand. Most people don't have E followed by letter D. Most people aren't toxically ritualistic. So they view fatness for what it is, which is a state of being. So a feeling is an emotion or a sensation. And fatness is a state of being. So I feel like this state of being. It makes sense, right? But to them, they don't view it that way. So feeling is reality within the toxic ritualistic, in my opinion, especially bingo. So feeling is reality. Fatness is permanent. So I am really fat all the time, but not really. But you're not. So I'm offended. You see? It's weird. It's not logical. It doesn't make sense, but that's why it's seen that way. So it's like you feel fat. You're telling me that you are fat, but I know that you're not fat. So it's offensive to me because you're not fat and you're saying that you are. No, they're not. But that's a different language, and it's a different understanding of the word fat. Fat is not an identity. It's not. It's not. Okay, moving on. I haven't blinked all day. I can't even say this because of frickin' Nita. Saying it with pride or boasting. Reduction culture has become so normalized that blankation gets framed as discipline, productivity, quote unquote, being good. For people around you, especially those with the toxic ritualistic, body shame, and food anxiety, it can become competitive and triggering very quickly. The damage, this can reinforce blank, 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 blank. Obsessive cal track and blank around food. Can't say anything. Blinking blank. No, I'm just kidding. The TR already have one of the highest mortality rates of all psychiatric illnesses. These conversations are not harmless. So I think that that is so weird to try to differentiate something, to say, like, you can't say that with pride or boasting. How do you interpret if that's happening, or how would you know that? Like, it's very easy to be misconstrued, especially if somebody is in the TR. They will interpret it that way automatically because they want to compete. So even if you say it shamefully, it won't matter. Like, the tone doesn't really matter. So if you're going to go there, then you'd have to say, like, I don't want to say it at all, or you shouldn't say it at all. But I think it's stupid to police people from saying a basic fact. You see, it doesn't really work in practice. Like, it just doesn't. And if you are so sensitive with your TR issue that you can't hear somebody say, I haven't blinked all day, which again, Nita is, because I don't even feel like I can say that, that's kind of wild. Like, you need to think of that as like a reality check and be like, I am not okay. I need to work at this a bit better. This is bad. This is bad. I can't live the rest of my life like this, because that's stupid. This should not be a triggering statement. You need to get to a point where it's not. So that's something that you want to work on. I need to burn this off. Movement becomes punishment. Exercise stops being joy, mobility, and strength, and becomes blank for blank. I don't even want to say this. The damage, compulsive blank patterns, guilt around consumption, exercise addiction. There's another one of those addictions. Another one. The TR loves to throw around that word. They love it so much. Anxiety after eating. Okay. Inability to rest without shame. It teaches people that their bodies must constantly earn existence. That's so stupid. That's such a dumb statement. Oh my God. That makes me want to scream. Oh my God. Oh my God. And I can't see because Abby's in the way. I don't know how to get rid of her. The way they used to do in The Biggest Loser, something where all the Biggest Losers now, because the diet culture industry has most people in a chokehold and is making millions off of them. Okay. So as far as like our bodies must earn existence, I don't even know. Like, that is so... I don't even know what that's trying to say. Like, what are you trying to even say? Oh my gosh, I have to like really dig deep here. Because some of this TR stuff, it's like gone, or like I don't understand it at all. So I think existence is like acceptance. So, okay, yeah. Teaches people that their bodies must constantly earn acceptance through movement. So that's what they're saying. Okay. Wow. I don't know if their language has gotten worse or if I've lost touch or if I'm losing touch a little bit. But I was able to get that one out. Okay. Treating thinness like automatic health. Health is not visually obvious. Okay. She downsized. She looks amazing. You can tell she takes care of herself. They got healthy. The reality, thinness can come from stress, illness, blank, the TR, depression, medication, grief. Larger bodies can belong to athletes, healthy people, active people, people with perfectly normal labs. The normal lab thing doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. And if you're that big, then it doesn't matter. You're still unhealthy. Sorry. This creates dangerous situations where the toxic ritualistic gets praised, sickness gets complimented, people avoid recovery because thinness is socially awarded. So I I think it's a little bit nuanced because I can kind of understand it a little bit better when I had a little bit of a moment this spring where I had like a reductive feeling. Now I was gonna, if I would have went with it, I would have ended up playing bingo basically, so don't get it twisted. But I was having a moment and I could understand the praise aspect. But as I said, at the time, if people knew what you were doing, you know you wouldn't be praised. So it's not real praise. Because if it's not real, then it's not real. If people don't know what you're doing, then they're not actually praising you. It's kind of like trying to be accepted for someone you're not. It's not actually real. So getting praised for something you're not is not real. It's not satisfying. It's DIS ordered. So I still think it's on the responsibility of the person that has the issue to look at it with some kind of perspective, because you need to. Because people aren't going to be happy about what you're doing. And they will find out, because it always shows. It does. People try, but it still shows. Okay, let's continue. I would literally die if I looked like that, even if you didn't mean it like that. Sometimes said jokingly about gaining weight, stretch marks, cellulite, bigger clothing sizes. What people hear that bodies resembling theirs are tragic, unacceptable, unbearable. This kind of language can become internalized trauma. I think that's so ridiculous. No. What it can be is it can be triggering, for sure. So let's call it what it is. It's triggering. It's not internalized trauma. That is ridiculous. Like, somebody is not traumatizing you for saying that, but they could trigger you into thinking about the issue more. Or like you could go into an anxiety spiral over something like this. So I'm not a huge fan of that. I understand that people are going to say it. Again, people within TR recovery, it is important to understand we live in a chaotic world. We live in a world where we can't control everything all the time. So people are going to say this, and you need to be able to deal with it if it is said. However, I'm not a fan of it personally, and I don't typically say that because it can be triggering. I would agree that that is triggering with basically no utility. And so if you were going to say that, I would just be like, I would be like, I need to make sure that nobody around here has an issue. And I wouldn't say it on the channel. You see? But that's just me. But I know. So I wouldn't say that. But it is, that being said, it is not internalized trauma. That's really dumb. People remember these comments for years, during dressing rooms, while eating, while dating, during intimacy, while simply existing in public. For many people, this is the beginning of lifelong body shame. So like I said, I think that we do have to take responsibility for our obsessions and for what we fixate on. So you must, because even if you hear nothing, you'll almost make it up that you heard it. Like, and people don't get that, but you will. Because if you need it to be heard, if you need to hear it to continue the behavior, then you're going to find something. You'll find something online. You'll find a way to get triggered. So that's the thing about it too. It's like you'll look for it. So that's why you can't just blame society all the time, because it's never going to be perfect, you know? So it's like if you look for it, you'll find it. And people within these issues, they will look for it, or they'll create it where it doesn't exist, which we see that all the time. It's because they need it to, so that they can justify what they're doing. Sometimes body dysmorphia makes people think, I hate my body, I need to be thinner, I need to I wish I could wake up blank, I should downsize so clothes fit me. That's a totally normal statement, the last one. But what comes out verbally is, fat bodies are terrifying, and those are not the same things. Oh my gosh. Your insecurity and dysphoria is real, but other people don't deserve to become collateral damage for it. Oh my gosh. Preachy. Diet culture taught people to fear fatness so deeply they say cruel things without even noticing, and sometimes knowing full well what their words might do to another. Diet culture, I don't think so. Diet culture is just corny. Diet culture is like cottage cheese and air pop popcorn, and stuff like that. It's like diet culture is focused on diet. It's in the name. Anybody can be a part of diet culture. You could have diet culture at any size. So I don't agree. But they often try to use diet culture as a stand-in for the toxic ritualistic, but they're projecting it onto everybody. So that's not real. Not everybody has it. Okay. Ask yourself, do you really want to be the reason why somebody has a panic attack because your words are so damaging, or stops blinking, gosh, I'm going to have to edit that, cries themselves to sleep, and hates themselves? If not, make the effort to use your words and actions with caution and care. So again, this approach is kind of, I have to get off this page, I'm getting nervous. This approach is blaming it on the person. So it's blaming it on society. So it's kind of externalizing the work that you have to do in recovery and putting that onto society. So that is the idea. So the idea is I should just be able to stay in this issue and never be triggered, which I've always told you guys, the toxic ritualistic fantasy is to be able to engage in the behaviors without judgment. That's the number one goal. That's the number one fantasy of somebody in the issue, is I want to be able to do all this and nobody say anything about it. So that's why they go there. The first thing they say is, don't say this, don't say that, don't. To which I'm like, no. Because you can be alone in a room and you're still going to have the problem. You're still going to obsess over something from 2003. You're going to obsess over a Special K commercial in 2003. It doesn't matter. And they'll act like, well, I can't, they act like it's like a war flashback when they hear about the Special K cereal from 2003. It's like, it's not. You're just obsessed with it. You won't let it go. You think about it all the time. And you're traumatizing yourself through the DIS order. That's what's happening. You literally traumatize your brain because of what you're doing to your body. That is what happens. It's not society's fault. It's just not. If you're traumatized in some way, then there could be a connection. And if that trauma is based in society, that could be a connection, right? But it's not a direct result of somebody calling you fat or something, or somebody saying, I feel fat. That didn't cause that. And if somebody saying that around you is triggering, you need to get to a point where it's not. Because, again, we don't try to please zombies. Zombies can't be pleased. I try to tell you guys that so many times. You can't please somebody with this issue. It is literally impossible to please somebody with this problem. I try to tell you over and over, and people don't believe it. A lot of people try to be like, well, I'll just try to do this. I'll try to be nice. I'll try to that. It doesn't work. That's why a lot of people that speak out against this stuff are just mean, because it doesn't matter how nice you are. It's still going to be a problem. And they might actually see that niceness as weakness. So you have to be a little careful when you're dealing with this stuff. But I would just say, if you're dealing with this issue, if you're struggling, you need to get some resilience. I do think that there's a time and place to tell people, I don't want to talk about certain things, especially if you're close to me, if you're in the household, if it's just a little too triggering for you to say certain things to me as my family member, I could understand that. I think that that's valid. But if you're talking public, people in public, people online, right? People that do not know you, that are not close to you, they're not going to necessarily know. They're just not. And you also need to get to a place and you need to think about it in terms of recovery to a point where I don't have to tell my family that anymore. I got over it. You see? It doesn't mean that you have to say it, but you have to stop trying to control it. The issue is in trying to control what people say about people, about their bodies, specifically. So remember, I'm talking specifically this. I'm not talking about all this other stuff. I'm talking about body size specifically, because within that context, it's toxic ritualistic. If you feel the need to control how somebody talks about body size, that is directly toxic ritualistic. It's the same thing if you feel the need to control what somebody else is eating. It's already getting there, unless if you're like their parent and they're like 5 years old, or something like that, right? Unless if it's an appropriate person for you to be controlling what they're having. But in general, like when you start to go down that path, it's not going anywhere good. Like it can put your recovery at risk too. Like if you are trying to recover, you're kind of like playing with fire. It's like staring in the mirror. It's like staring. It's like, ooh, you got to be careful with that. You're staring at the sun when you stare at the mirror, It's the same thing. So if you're like, I have to police what everybody around me says about this, it's kind of like, are you recovered? Because it's a control issue. So I get it. I do. Trust me, I get it. I get the need or the desire to try to control these conversations, or try to control what people say, or try to control even what people eat and stuff. I understand it. I've done it before. There ain't nothing I haven't done in the TR. Okay. No, that's not true. There's certain things I haven't done, but I'm talking about in terms of bingo. There's nothing I haven't done in bingo. I've done it all. I've seen the world, done it all. But the point is, yeah, I have tried to control what other people eat before, and I have tried to control what people said about this issue and stuff. I've done it. So it's like, it's not a good path. That's all I'm trying to say. If you have this issue, like I'm not trying to tell everybody what to say or do all the time, but I'm telling you, if you have this issue, if you're in recovery, I would steer away. It's one of those boundaries. You just have boundaries with yourself, It's going to keep you sane. Don't try to control what people have to consume or what people consume. Don't try to control what people say about people's bodies. Just let it be. Just let it be. Remember that you're in control of what you're doing. And you have an appropriate, make it healthy, make it lovely. You can talk about it however you want. It's your right. But it's also other people's right. You see? So you got to have that differentiation. It's very important within TR recovery, because we're often in a herd mentality within the TR, and we're always comparing and competing and looking at what everybody's doing and freaking out about everything that everybody's doing. And well, this person said this, so then I feel like I have to do that. No. That's a toxic ritualistic belief. It doesn't mean that you have a problem if you feel that, but it means that is a belief of it. And if you are in it, then you likely do believe that you have to do something because somebody did it. Like that, the one girl in the Jillian interview, where she was like, I've been hearing about Ozempic forever, and I've been struggling with it on a daily basis of if I should do it or not because of these ads. That's why they don't want to hear it, because they really they consider it, because if anybody does it, they feel like they have to. That's super TR. Like, I'm recovered, so when I see Ozempic commercials, I don't feel anything. I don't care. I'm super neutral about it, because I'm like, okay, whatever, because I don't feel any pressure. I never did. When I was downsizing, I just never did, because I was like, no, I don't need it. And that was it. And I even got in a little bit of an argument with somebody because they were saying that people that aren't on the drugs are jealous. And I was like, no, I'm not. I was like, I'm not jealous at all. And I listed all the reasons why I wasn't jealous. And then they're like, so you think you're better than us? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh my God, you guys are zombies. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, ooh, we got TR zombies on Ozempic. Because that's really weird. Like, I should be able to say I'm not jealous of you being on Ozempic. I'm not, you know? And they're like, well, the fact that you felt the need to say that. And I'm like, no, it's because she's demonizing people that are criticizing the use. You should be able to. You should be able to. So it's the same thing with Ozempic. You shouldn't be trying to police what everybody's doing with that too. You shouldn't be comparing so much. Like that, it's the comparison and the control. That is TR within the conversations. And if somebody's doing it, then I have to do it. No. And you shouldn't be offended if I say you don't need it to downsize. If that offends you, that's TR. Like, I'm just telling you. You should not be offended by that. That's ridiculous. So, again, there's a lot of zombies on it. So just be aware of that, too. Just because somebody's on that doesn't mean that they're not in the problem. But I will talk to you guys later. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye. We'll be doing more of Anita. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.